Hi, Steve.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is the Australian Survivor Reunion. You know, it's a large part season 1, but we definitely have some other representation as well. It's great. We are here tonight to support Give Kids the World. For those unfamiliar with Give Kids the World, is an organization in Florida, and what they do is they help children and their families, you know, very sick children and their families, get out to Florida to a themed medical campus. And on that campus, they have all kinds of things to do, all kinds of great things. It's an amazing place. And they have celebrations for Christmas and Easter and a couple other things, Halloween and all that over the course of the week that the family's there. They pay nothing. And basically what it is places like Disney World and places like Universal Studios, they have programs that bring these children out, you know, but the thing is, there's a lot of paperwork. What Give Kids the World does is they fly them out to Florida and immediately get them going and celebrating and having fun, making as many positive memories with these children as they can. You know, unfortunately, some do pass away, but the point is that they get to actually experience some fun, make some great family memories. It's a wonderful organization. So thank you all for being here for this. You know, you have all donated so much over the last several years. It's been amazing. You guys have raised way more money than the United States survivors and that kind of stuff. So I truly appreciate you all.
That's so good.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see Stephen Pickett there. He's one of the main, you know, the main guys behind this. He really helps me out in this. So anyhow, what
we love Stephen.
I Skyped Stephen once.
Mm-hmm.
Jason. I got a Skyping with Stephen.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Anyone here not talked to Stephen before? I know that's not going to sleep now.
I don't think I have.
Talk to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a pleasure for me. I'm a huge fan of Australian Survivor. I praise it everywhere I go, and I have the seasons available for all my friends and that kind of stuff. You guys have outdone our show by a long shot, in my humble opinion. But I'm not here to float your egos. I'm here to talk about the show. So we do have 3 members here that need to go out a little early. They got some other responsibilities and things to go. So let's talk a little bit. Flick, what have you been doing since your time off the show and both seasons there? I know you've got a new project going on and things like that and all that. What have you been up to these days?
Well, I guess this year's been a little bit crazy for everyone, but I am no longer working in travel. Go figure. I'm actually starting my own projects. So I'm starting my own support one-on-one and in groups, and then hopefully I'm hoping that I'll have a team as well, and focusing on kind of outdoor activities and everything like that as well. Besides that, I was meant to get married this year and that didn't happen either. But JJ and I mean, we've been, you know, just enjoying this year for what it is. And I don't know, just taking everything as it comes and just kind of enjoying life and, yeah, making the most of it.
Great. And I see awesome. Your puppy just turned 1 the other day.
Yes, Cooper turns 1, so he's a big boy now. Yeah, he's doing well.
Great. Can you give a quick background on the Positivity Project and how that's going?
Yeah, so the Positivity Movement, it's pretty much, so it's going to be based on the Gold Coast to begin with, and it'll be myself, and then I've had a few others interested in joining the team that specialize, whether it's yoga or personal training and those kind of things, that have also studied mental health community services. So I'm hoping to put like a team together so I can provide support to people on the Gold Coast, and eventually I'm hoping it'll go more national, and also wanting to do a couple of like little things like apparel and some nice like candles that help with anxiety, and then proceeds go back into mental health charities as well.
Fantastic. That's awesome. That's amazing. I wish you the best of luck in that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm passionate
for sure.
So it's my whole passion. Like, it's been my whole life. I'm very, very, very passionate about mental health. So it's always something that I've wanted to do. And, you know, it's a good feeling to be able to start something and know that I will be helping people as well.
Fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
Great. Let's see. Sharn, how about you? What you been up to these days?
Well, again, it's been a crazy year. I am still lawyering, still practicing law, but in this new format online, which has been a challenge in itself. So, but it's given me the opportunity to work remotely. So I'm usually in Melbourne, but I've been up just north of Sydney since June. Yeah, so with family up there, but still working, and my kids were all like learning remotely as well because of the lockdown in Melbourne. So that's what I've been up to, but I'm also getting into politics. So that's kind of my new goal. So I've been taking active steps in that regard, and I've got a few things happening in the background at the moment, which I'm really excited about. So I think as we come up to our next federal and state elections, yeah, I'll be putting my hand up. So for either federal or state. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that.
For Prime Minister.
Yeah, not yet, but yeah, maybe give me 10 years and I'll get there.
I would
Heard
say
it here first, guys.
I would say come over here and run for president and all that stuff. But it's okay now. It's okay now.
Few barriers there. Their voting system, like, yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's so different.
It is, it really is. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that. So I've been super busy actually, because I've been working the kids. I've got 4 kids. My oldest is doing his final year, VCE at the moment in Victoria. And we're all actually split. So they're in Melbourne, half of them are in Melbourne, and I've got my youngest one with me at the moment because my dad's terminally ill. So he's hanging in there. He is so strong and such a fighter. So yeah, so I've been caring for him still. So yeah, I've been so busy, but I'm really happy to be involved in this again because I think it's a great charity and the work you guys do is amazing. So yeah, thanks for having us on today.
Oh, no, thank you for being here. I appreciate this. Okay. Sam, how about yourself? You've had a little life change recently.
Mate, I have. I've before I get started though, I wanted to say hello, Stephen. Obviously, I've never met you, man. So nice to meet you across Zoom, buddy. I hope you're well. Jason, thanks for putting this together, and much respect for everything you're doing for Give Kids a World, mate. I think it's a great initiative, and I hope that amongst us and many more people, we can make a really good impact on people's lives, you know, especially out there in Florida. So well done. I've recently made a massive career change, man. I'm over here in the US. I'm finally joined a zoo. And what I mean by that, I'm in LA. This place is like a circus. There's people everywhere. This place is a madhouse, man. But no. On more of a serious note, I've made the move to the States, to LA, back in August of 2019 to expand my mental health nonprofit, Livin', so that we can spread that message far and wide. And to also pursue my acting career at the same time. And I met a lovely girl along the way, and all the stars just kept aligning for me, man. So here I am out here in LA and living the dream as best as I can, mate. It's been a real struggle this year. That's for sure. But I've probably learned as much about myself this year, I think, as I did on the island. So very grateful experiences also. Very nice.
Very nice. With Corona, do you kind of wish you were back in Australia now?
Mate, you know what? I probably, I got the virus, so I'm doing pretty well right now. I wouldn't, yeah, I'm still very skeptical, obviously, but yeah. I mean, I'd love to be back in Oz, and it's just very hard right now to get back there with quarantine and the cost of flights and whatnot. So we'll just bust it out here for a little bit, and hopefully things sort of change. But yeah, Australia isn't leaving anytime soon, mate. So I'll be back there one day.
And I heard you're going to come drive over to Colorado and say hi. I swear I heard that.
Yeah, mate. You know what? I've got my license, so I can definitely do that. And I've been to Colorado once, and I love that place. And I've heard it's even better in the winter, man. So you never know. If I'm in the area, of course, I'll hit you up, and you can show me what's good and what's not.
Flick was supposed to be here a few months ago, but
yes, I know. Yeah. Flick, but due to the virus stuff.
I should be a Mrs. Henry right now. So I'm still in Egginton.
That's all right.
And Kylie, you popped in. How are you doing down there?
Hey, everyone. Yeah, we had a bit busy. Oh, Eden wants to say hi. Hi.
Hello.
A big Survivor fan, so she's just jumping on the bandwagon. But it's great to see everyone. Jace, you do an amazing job putting things together and helping this awesome charity. So anytime we get a chance, 1, to say hi and 2, to help, we're right behind you guys. So great to see you all. And sorry for the late jumping in. We've had one of those crazy mornings with netball clinics and play dates and, you know, running around after kids after night shift. So out of the fun, but it's great to see you all.
You said netball. That makes me remember we're missing Lee. Lee's supposed to be here.
Yeah. What?
Oh, he'll probably jump on, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. For those, you know, like I said, since we have a few people leaving, I just want to kind of guide questions, and then I'll come back to Figs and Craig and Steve and Phoebe and Kylie and stuff to get more in-depth on what's going on in your worlds right now. Don't want to leave anybody out. But Michelle had a good question that she's been wanting to ask, and fortunately she's able to be here because she said she was going to be late, but it looks like she's here. So the question she had is, she says, hi, survivors in the first place. She asked, name one good thing and one bad thing, if any, which have come from experience on Survivor. Oh, and she's in her car driving home, so she's listening to it while she's driving. So this is open to everybody, but like I said, we're getting a couple people, you know, that are going to be gone here soon. So if you want to kind of throw out a couple questions, that'd be great.
I'll jump in with an answer for one good thing.
Good thing.
Well, there's many. No, I would say for me, the best thing that has come out of Survivor have been some genuine relationships. I think across both the seasons, I would say there were lots of challenges, but there were people that came into my life that will stay in my life forever, and Survivor brought me that. So I will never, ever be anything but grateful for Survivor, because those friendships are very meaningful. And so, yeah, you can't question that. That's pretty awesome.
Are you and Sarah still doing the podcast together?
Well, not really. I mean, we might do something here and there. It's just a bit hard because we're constantly in different places. Sarah's work means that she's moving around a lot. So for us this year with COVID happening, it just became a bit difficult doing it remotely. So we find we need to be in person because it's really hard to be like bantering when you can't see someone's body language and facial expressions, and it's difficult to do it all virtually. So we've still got it and we love it and we had the best time making it, and we probably will just do the odd episode when we feel like it for fun, but it's not something we're sort of committed to doing every week. I think people underestimate how much work is involved in a podcast. Like, it is so much work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see, Sam, Sharn, Flick, any highlights on this one?
I'll let you go first, Sharn.
Okay, I was just going to second what Phoebe said, because that was the first thing that came to my mind as well. That's one thing I didn't actually expect going in, because to play Survivor, you know, you've kind of got to be cutthroat, and I didn't think that I would get real friendships out of it, but I absolutely have, and they are some of the strongest friendships I'll ever have. So that is the one thing I'm really, really grateful for. In terms of bad things that have come from it, the only bad thing I would say is when you miss things from home, like important events or birthdays and, you know, your loved ones' birthdays. So when I was out last time, I had kind of a string of events that I missed with the kids, my youngest one's birthday, and they're the kind of things you just feel sad about. And that's the only real negative thing, because everything else, you know, you learn from that experience. It's such an incredible experience. So you get so much growth. It's just expedites growth, I think. So that's a gift in itself. But yeah, they're my two things. Over to you, Sam.
Yeah, I think, and that was, you girls summed up really, really well. I think it's very much the same. Relationships, absolutely. And that expedited growth that Sharn said, you know, I mean, you learn so much about yourself out there because you spend so much time in your own mind, especially during those downtimes where you get to process a lot of the stuff that you had to deal with before going onto the island, whether it be trauma or life experiences or things you wanted to do once you got out of the game. I mean, it gave you a lot of time to slow down and smell the roses, which I think has been something that I've lacked in my own life, I guess, for the most part of it. So I got a lot out of it from that regard. And, you know, I was able to spread a message through the work that I do on national TV, which, you know, has really helped living, I guess, on a number of different levels, with whether it's raising awareness for suicide prevention or, you know, saving people's lives along the way. It certainly helps. Yeah, very grateful.
Fantastic.
I guess for me, I would have to say, like, yeah, I agree with everyone else. The friendships that I've got from Survivor have been, for me, absolutely life-changing. And it's not just the people that I met on the island, it's also the people that I've met after the island too. So fans and, you know, production and everything like that. I've made some amazing friends from Survivor. So yeah, I'm incredibly grateful for that, because to me, like, having a genuine friendship is very important in life, and I'm grateful that I have a lot of them now. Also, I think Survivor absolutely changed my life. Like, it gave me a whole new perception on life. It has given me like a new beginning on life. After season 1, it just gave me a different outlook on life. I overcame a lot on Survivor. Having, you know, dealt with, you know, mental health issues before, depression and anxiety and whatnot, going on Survivor was exactly what I needed to kind of look at the world a little bit differently. So it definitely changed my life, and I'm forever grateful for that. I'm grateful for the amazing people that I've met along the way, and I hope that from my experience, I can now help others through that. In terms of something negative happening from it, I mean, I don't know. I try not to think too much on the negative things or anything like that, but I would probably say, yeah, I guess just being away from my family and my loved ones. And I guess that would be the hardest part. And then also just not coming back, not having that whole story told properly on what happens on the island, and having, I guess, fans, you know, ask you like, why didn't you do this? And you're like, well, I did. All of those things as well. But I've learned to kind of disconnect a little bit from Survivor now, which I'm really grateful for, because after All Stars, I was able to do that. After season 1, I wasn't so much. So All Stars was definitely what I needed to do. I feel like I've got my closure now with Survivor. Yes, I would love to play again, but at the same time, if I never play again, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's great. I need to see how to get out of this view here. Let me see how I gallery. There we go. Are we back to a full everybody now, or is it still focused on Flick?
Still on Flick.
Okay. There we go.
There you go. Still on you now.
That's great. Yeah, and I point when you were saying it, because I was off screen there. You said make friends, so you know. Yeah.
Like you, Jason.
That's the highlight of your Survivor experience.
Definitely.
Great. Anybody else want to throw in on this one?
Yeah, I'll come in, Jason. So actually, I've got 3 responses to those 2 questions. The first one, you know, what one good thing, everything everybody else said, but for me, it's always simmering in the background. Survivor is always there. You know, it's always, you know, on social media. It's always in my head. It's always somewhere in there, and that's an interesting phenomenon. The one bad thing I think comes from what Flick just said, and that is because it's a limited time TV show, they can't show everything. And what disappointed me was they didn't show a lot of the laughs and the fun and all of that, all of those crazy things that happened in that short time that I was there. And I know they would have continued afterwards. And that was a pity, because there was a lot of hilarious shit going down. Yeah. And I think that's a shame, because that was entertaining too. Anyway, you can't have everything. I get that. The middle thing for me is, and this is, it confuses me. So I think some of you would know, I work with special ops guys, you know, and they work in a challenging environment, doing a challenging job. But all through everything, and I teach risk management. Everything I do where I think there will be, you know, tension in terms of physical or mental effect, then I have a plan before I go in, and I have to have that plan before I go in, because that's when I'm in a normal state, and I know that if I become into an abnormal state, I have to stick to the original plan, because that's going to give the safest, best outcome. Now, that happened on Survivor. It happened a couple of trips up to Everest Base Camp. But when I say it's the middle answer to those 2 questions is I'm still torn between on some occasions, on several occasions, you have to make the best worst decision. And no matter what the outcome, you know, it's going to be a shit sandwich for you, and it's going to upset people, and it's going to upset you. So that's the middle answer, is as an effect from Survivor, is that, you know, hey, it is what it is, and you've got to make your own decisions yourself.
Nice. I like that. Let's see. It's getting close to the time to cut off for a few of these people here. So I wanted to ask Sharn real quick. Hey, Sharn, do you have any new pairs of shorts with pockets in them by chance?
all my shorts have pockets now, and even my dresses. So I'm never counting that one down. It was the most cringeworthy moment. Just my luck, right?
Oh, but it made for great TV.
It really did, I suppose. But yeah,
it did.
And it changed the course of the game. Like, it's funny how those things have a ripple effect. Like, that was completely out of my control. I mean, it wasn't my control, but it, you know, fell out. And then that had that course. So, not great. Anyway.
And Sharn, I must say, in All-Stars there, you were kicking some major butt in those physical challenges. You know, kudos to you on that.
You know, I enjoy the challenges. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to go on Survivor, because I wanted to see how it could go. And it was a lot of fun, because you can't build that stuff and do it for yourself. I mean, and even at home, you're not going to work under the same pressure and last as long, because you know it's not for real. But out there, when it's very real, that's how you can stand on a pole for 4.5 hours.
Stephen Pickett's laughing down there.
Yeah.
I'm laughing about that. It's because I do a survival challenge with another friend of mine, and we build those challenges identical to what you guys are doing. And so
Really?
we have to try them out.
That's incredible. Wow. How cool.
And how long do you last?
Oh, not near that long.
For those that don't know, Stephen will be on a future United States season of Survivor.
I hope so.
I think so.
Great.
Definitely.
I want to see that. I hope so too.
I want to see it too.
Before anybody leaves, I just want to tell you guys, it is so awesome to see every one of y'all. And you know, we love you guys. I mean, I honestly do. I love you guys to death, every one of you, because you've all been special. And Sam, we need to chat sometime. And Steve, I think I've chatted with you once, but we need to chat again, because I need to get more information from you.
That's so nice. Thanks, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's
Steve.
lovely.
That's
Thank
so
you,
lovely.
Stephen. You're amazing. Stephen, you are an amazing human being. So you need to know that too. Like, you are incredible.
And since Sam needs to go as well, Sam, if you want to contact me afterwards and things about the charity you're working on, I'll see if we can't pull something together for that as well. You know, that way we can, you know, double up on this, and, you know, this kind of experience, and, you know, raise some money for your charity as well.
Mate, it's all good. I appreciate the gesture, and yeah, I'm just very grateful to be a part of this, mate. Thanks again for putting it together, and you know, it's just good to be back here. Like, I haven't seen half of these faces, and there's a few people I've never met, so it's great to meet new people. The game brings together people from all walks of life, and it's amazing that everyone has their own unique story, and you know, we can share it on platforms to make a difference. I think that's the way it should go. So, thanks for all of your great work, man.
And since we're recording this anyhow, can you throw out the name of your charity one more time?
It's called Livin, Livin. I'm living, man. I'm living.
And is there a website?
Yeah, there is. It's livin.org. So livin.org.
Excellent.
Just trying to put that in an American accent for you, man.
No, I heard that just then. I was like,
I'm actually I'm trying to learn my American accent. You know,
you're doing a good job.
My name is Sam Webb, and I'm from California, Los Angeles, from West Hollywood. And I'm 32 years of age.
Nice.
So good. That's amazing.
You don't want to hear my Australian accent, because I'd probably be all over the map.
Oh, come on.
Mate, it's the hardest accent in the world.
Yeah.
Did you say you were 32 today?
No. 32 in May.
May. Okay, I was about to wish you happy birthday.
No.
And Flick, thank you once again. You know, you've always been there for this, you know, the charity and stuff, and raised so much, you know, since season 1 and everything. So I truly appreciate you and all that too. So did you have any last words of? Actually, I should ask Joseph there. Joseph is down at the bottom there. If he has any questions for the three of you, real quick. You know, but Flick, I just want to say,
I'm happy to. I can probably stay on like another 10 minutes anyway, so that's fine. I can stay a bit longer.
Joseph, if you have a question, you can go ahead and shout it out or put it in the chat. Either way, and I can throw that out.
yeah, I guess I would just love to say that I'm so grateful that you've invited all of us, because I've been over to Orlando, obviously, and I've seen Give Kids the World. I was there with Phoebe, and you know what they do is absolutely amazing. And you know, I'm always happy to put my hands up and be a part of such an amazing charity that, you know, is giving back to families and young children that need that support. So it's absolutely beautiful what Give Kids the World is doing, and it's beautiful what you're doing. And I'm just grateful that we are all here and we get to see one another. And yeah, it's definitely put a smile on my face.
Nice. Yeah, you and Phoebe came that one year, the one year I missed.
Yeah.
I was like, so.
I know, but that's right. We caught up in Colorado anyway.
Let's see. Joseph came in with a question. How did you experience differ between your original season and All Stars?
You know, oh, sorry, go on, Flick. Sorry.
No, you go, Phoebe. You go. Or was that Sharn?
Oh, well, to be honest, what I was going to say was, I think it's such a good question, and I think depending on the context you're coming from will inform how you respond. For some people, they played, you know, very close together, so it had been just 12 months or so, versus someone like Flick and myself, where we'd had years in between. And going back to that earlier question of the things that might be challenging post-Survivor, I think when you've been affected by those things, it can then affect the way you play a second time, versus people who are playing just 12 months later and they haven't necessarily kind of, I don't know, gone to the depths of those highs and lows post their first experience. So there's lots of things that are different, but I do think, you know, people would argue that it's a disadvantage to have played immediately afterwards, whereas I would say it's actually probably an advantage from my perspective, versus, you know, you're not the same person when you're in your mid-20s, you've had then, you know, 4 years in between, and then you go back, like you're coming from a totally different worldview and a different lens. And so it's a difficult thing, I think, to kind of play the way people expect you to play, but also you're different and you have a new perspective, versus people maybe who are coming in with the same, well, a very similar lens, because that time lapse hasn't happened for them.
Yeah, I have to agree with everything that Phoebe just said. Like, I was going to pretty much say the same thing, but also as well, people from season 1, I guess, have a much, and 2 and et cetera, the early seasons, have a much bigger target, I think, on their backs if they are portrayed as villains and whatnot. Like me, for example, blindsided my best friends. So I believe going into All Stars, that was my biggest concern, because people would not be able to trust me. But in saying that, like in season 1, I did build trust with a lot of people. It was just going in towards the end, Brooke was the biggest target. She was going to win the game. So I had to do what was best for my game, and that was to get rid of her. But going into All Stars, I guess, yeah, that was a bit of a concern for me, worrying about my image from season 1 and having that target on my back. But in terms of the games being different, the challenges were definitely a lot harder in All Stars than they were in season 1, a lot harder. And also, I guess I had only fractured my leg 3 months before All Stars. So that was a little bit tricky for me as well, because I kept that kind of like under the wraps. But yeah, I mean, both experiences were amazing. I've learned a lot from both. I guess playing All Stars was really amazing for me, because obviously I didn't make the jury and make it deep into the game, but at the same time, I think that's my path that I needed to go on, because I was able to kind of come back and then be like, Survivor is a game, and I love that game so much. I love watching it. I watch the American series and everything like that, but it's not my life. So I was able to disconnect from that. So that was a really beautiful thing that I got from All Stars.
I think for me, my experience differed in the sense that obviously the first time I went out to play, I was so excited about it because I was a fan. It was a dream come true, really, and the novelty was there. So you've got no idea of that process and the mechanics of how it all works. Whereas going in the second time, you are well aware of how it all works, and also going in with a group of players that are there to play hard. And we felt that on day one, like it was just game on from the get-go. So the intensity was up there, and that was difficult to manage because you didn't know who to trust. And basically you're working on the basis that you really couldn't trust anybody. That's how it differed. The first experience, I think, was a lot more fun. I had more fun the first time.
I agree.
Yeah. All Stars was brutal.
All Stars
watching it was brutal. Yeah, like that, the edit. Yeah. Anyway.
Everything about All Stars was brutal.
Yeah, agreed.
It's Sharn versus the Golden God.
Yeah, I know, right? Whereas you didn't see half the stuff that was going on with, because they've got to fit that narrative. And that was the frustrating thing. Absolutely. Like I was sitting there watching it and just so disappointed. And you guys would have been too, like Flick. I felt for you, immensely. Yeah. It was crazy. So it was a really different experience. So if I had to pick, obviously champs contenders, my first season was awesome.
And the other thing I'd say is the big difference is you're playing with people that have pre-existing relationships, and it is, you cannot explain how the magnitude of that. Like it's not organic Survivor. Returning seasons, I have a total view on now, and I will never watch returning seasons the same way because those relationships, it's not Survivor. You know each other in the real world.
Friends.
Baggage, you have friendships, there are other people's friendships, and I think pre-existing relationships for me benefited me in the first part of my game and absolutely didn't in the second part of my game. No offense, Sharn. So I think I think everyone can but everyone can say
it's
that.
True. Yeah.
It was the same for everyone. So it was kind of the way the cards fell for you was also just so greatly impacted by relationships that already existed.
And that's a huge difference, isn't it? Because when you start in your first season, you don't know anyone else, you don't know your backgrounds, there's no history. But going
it was exciting.
History.
Yeah,
the first time.
The first time
you get to meet new friends. Yeah, it's like first day of school.
I feel like All Stars though, because everyone kind of knew one another and you knew who was kind of going to be on All Stars, and it was just like, there's those pre-existing relationships and you just know that it's not going to be as genuine as the first time. Yeah.
It's like me and Flick landing on the mat on day one together. Like we're obviously going to play together. I don't need to be like, hi, I'm Phoebe. Like we've traveled together. You know, it's everyone had people that they already knew.
Exactly.
Survivor.
Okay. So what I want to do real quick here, since time is limited and everything, Sam, Sharn, and I know Flick will be leaving here soon, but for all three of you, thank you so much for attending. Like I said early on, they have prior engagements and everything, so they have been gracious enough to come and give us some time. I appreciate your answers and everything like that, and your time and feedback for this. It's been fantastic. And now we get to have everybody else talk too.
Take care, guys. Thanks so much for having us on here. Thanks so much.
So lovely to see you all.
Look after yourselves, guys, and stay well for the rest of the year. If I don't see or speak to anyone online, look after yourselves for the rest of the year, all right? See you later, Craig. And I didn't say
later, babe.
It's
good to see you, Sammy.
Kylie, look after yourself. See you, Feek. See you guys. See you, Steve.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.
Stevie,
no one loves you, Phoebes.
See you guys. Thanks. See you.
I just didn't want to have anybody hanging around that had to get somewhere to be. So we've had Michelle join us recently here. I don't know if she's still in her car or not, but Michelle from the Australian Survivor fan page, and Jimmy Kearney, I don't know. I never know how to pronounce his last name. He's my really good mate. Most of you know him too. So. So, and I say mate everyone. So when I'm talking to Australian people, I say mate. You know. I even say it here in the United States sometimes. So thank you for sticking around. If you have other engagements, just let me know in chat or whatever like that. But let's see. Phoebe, what have you been up to since the last All-Stars and everything like that? What you been up to these days?
Well, yeah, I guess like everyone, it's been a pretty difficult year. So I've been spending, in Melbourne, I don't know if you guys know this, we had, I think, one of the longest lockdowns in the world. So we have spent a lot of time at home. It's been a bit tough, but I have been doing some cool things. I'm continuing to practice as a solicitor. So just working in law, still lawyering. And I started my master's. So I'm doing a Master of Law now, which is exciting. And I just recently bought a house.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I feel like although it's been a difficult year for everyone and myself included, it's been very challenging. I'm kind of proud of these other little achievements in the background. It's nice to still have like had things to celebrate, notwithstanding this year, which has been hard for everyone.
Good. You may have PTSD from Survivor, but just know you're one of the most loved and greats and all that kind of stuff. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Jason. That's so nice. I have both PTSD and a great, significant, everlasting love for Survivor. It's both. It is both.
Let's see, Steve. You've been around for a while here, and I haven't got much chance to talk with you here. How you been doing, Steve?
Well, Jess, let me just begin by tipping my hat to you for what you're doing is amazing, mate. You're really doing a good job there with all this charity and what can I say, you know, but you're on the other side of the world. Yeah. On my side, I've learned to quieten down a little bit more. As you notice, I've tried to be the last to speak as many times as I can in Zoom meetings, kind of working unless you ask me questions. On my side, I've like Phoebe, I'm going to start my PhD in environmental law, and yeah. Well, you know, everyone knows me as Stevie Khouw, right? But can you imagine calling me Dr. Khouw? I mean, there's a bit of a ring to that, right? Dr. Khouw, Dr. this, Dr. No, but Dr. Khouw, oh, you know, like, yeah, I can get that.
I like it, Steve. I think it suits you.
Oh, thank you. That's me. Yeah. And the other thing is that I got, look, I didn't want to, but eventually I got sucked into it. I'm going to go back to a reality show again next year, but this time for Channel 7, all things. Yeah. And the reason why I'm doing it is because of the charity components. Everyone who did Survivor seems to be doing a charity here and there everywhere. And it's my turn to do something. And it's called Adventure All Stars next year. It's a bit of a cross between The Amazing Race and a traveling show, right? You just got to get from point A to point B in a team. And you got to do it either in a, you know, on a zip line or a hot air balloon or scuba dive, whatever, right? It's fun. But at the same time, I have to help raise funds for my favorite charity, and that's going to be the women's community shelters. They provide refuge, crisis accommodation for women, especially those who are subjected to domestic violence, etc., etc. So that's keeping me busy, keep me out of trouble, and that's me at this point in time.
Great. That's congratulations on going for that PhD. That's amazing. Dr. Khouw.
Oh, hang on. It's a 3-year by research, you see. So I've just got to cultivate my discipline again. After Survivor, I was a loose cannon again. You know, like that's the way I had to slow down, if you know what I mean.
And Steve, I do believe I saw a hidden immunity idol over on Figs behind those cabinets back there. So you might want to check that out.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna find it now.
Thank you. Let's see.
Oh, that was fun.
Craig, you've been quiet down there. I want to talk to you. You know, you're one of my faves from season 1, as always. You know, things like that. And I've tried poking.
Hey Jay, how are you doing, babe?
Doing good. How are you?
No, I'm doing good, actually. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. And it's so good to see all these faces. I mean, everyone was saying before, they love everyone. And I mean, majority of these people I really don't like. But no, I love them to bits. And no, I mean, good. I still work for the Queensland Fire Department and have had a massive year actually with a lot of things. When the beginning of the year, when everything kicked off, I actually did a lot of work in the State Disaster Centre, which is our forefront of if ever Queensland has a cyclone or bushfires and stuff. That's like literally the headquarters of logistics and doing everything for that. So I was actually in there and dealing with the first few weeks of COVID and sorting out hotels and things like that. So that was pretty full on. But you know, obviously love doing it. It's part of my job. And then just other than that, yeah, working on projects and stuff within the fire too, which I can't really talk about, but like just enhancing the service and everything like that for Queensland. So yeah, pretty much been focused on my work.
Nice. Is that, and now is Queensland where the majority of that giant fire was last year, or is it this year?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was this year. Was it this year? See, I've got like everyone else. I've completely like, I can sit here and like today I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it is Saturday, right? And then I think, oh wait, like, is it just me or does everyone else think that all the days blur? But yeah, the fires I think have been, they were the beginning of this year. No, they were everywhere really, and massive. So crazy.
Yeah, we had our fair share here in Colorado. We had our largest fires ever. But
yeah, you guys did. It's like, isn't it insane how and just how devastating they can be, and how quickly they can spread and go everywhere, and just the amount of damage they did. The ones that we had at the beginning of this year, just the amount of damage that did to natural like wildlife and everything was devastating. And it's that stuff that everyone, I mean, people do realize, but you know, you can wipe out entire species. It's just insane. So yeah, it's a very at times very confronting working in my job, but at the same time I love it. And I'm almost been there for almost 10 years now, so yeah, it's really good. And then
so shameless self-promotion, how about your new podcast coming up?
Yeah, so it's Kangaroo Soup, and it's where underway we've been working.
Oi.
Kangaroo Soup, oi, yeah. We've been working on it for a few months, wanting to launch it on Australia Day next year. And it's pretty much, well, to put it bluntly, I was approached by Des and Elle, and the three of us are the amazing trio that we just sit there and talk about different topics, and everyone's going to get a whack job point of view of the three of us talking about what we're talking. It's pretty much going to be as if you're listening to the podcast, it's if the three of us have been sitting in a room having a conversation, and you just sort of, you're the fly on the wall, or you just come and stand behind us like the creep and stare and listen to the conversation. So but we've been getting a lot of really good feedback, and yeah, so Australia Day next year. So Instagram is kangaroosoup_oi, and you'll see some very crazy things that we've been creating on there just to get some stupidity and hype up, and then get into more serious stuff soon.
I did see the turkey video.
Yeah, Elle puts together some really crazy ones. I think there was, yeah, the Addams Family one was my favorite, I think, but no, it's just, yeah, I don't know where she gets it in her head. And the funny thing was as well is that she, when she started to do the things where she's putting our faces on to music and songs, I was walking through the supermarket, and then every single time a song came on, all I could see was Dez's face on a body singing the song. And I was like, get out of my head, just go away.
I think that's the typical reaction to Dez.
Oh God, he's a beast. I love him to death, but it's just like, get out of my head. Not enough. Give me a break.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it's all good.
And let's see, let's move on. Kylie, how you been? How are you and the kids, and what's going on in your life? You're firefighting too still, right?
Yeah, nearly 15 years now. So that's just a part of who I am, I suppose. This year has been crazy challenging, and like Craig said, it's not just Groundhog Day. It's so much has happened so intensely in such a short space of time that is that this year, was that who knows? Hi, Eden wanted to say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Eden wanted you all to know that she's going to play Survivor one day.
Yes. I was on an ad for the Australian Sports Commission.
She's pretty proud that she's been on TV too, so you might see her coming up. So, tips on, blindsiding and, the stuff that actually gets you to the end would be handy. So she's very, it's pretty cool. The whole Survivor, the whole Survivor thing extends not just with, our new Survivor family, but, every part of our family kind of has grown from that experience. So, your question before, the good things and the bad things, I think the good things just, there are the side effects and there are the woulda, coulda, shoulda head games that play with you forever. But there is so much that comes from it that you can draw strength from and have a bit of fun playing with. And, even that outweighs the negative side of giving everyone at work a bit of, fuel for antagonism and being a bit raw and open. But this has been crazy. We've had floods, we've had fires. Our whole fire service has amalgamated and become a different entity. And it's just, 3 kids homeschooling, working shift work full time. It's been nuts and crazy. And sometimes life is crazier than, a script could be, just like Survivor, I suppose. But it's so good to see all your faces. And, you guys do so much for these. And Steve especially, recognize you've got your own iconic look. We can't wait to see you on Survivor and sit at home and cheer for you. So you just got to make it happen.
That's right. Yep.
I can see it's like mother, like daughter, actually. It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, only there's 3 of them, so look out.
But she's gonna win. She's gonna win.
You reckon?
Take it home. Take it home.
She'll be sole survivor.
We'll make sure she. Unless she plays with it, and then it might be trouble.
Now, Kylie, one thing I just wanted to bring up about you while we got you right in the center frame here is that I always love that you post so many uplifting and positive messages on social media. It's always fantastic. But I mean, we talk about strong players and everything, that played the game. But after you came back from Survivor, you had insanity going on with your daughter, and you were probably one of the strongest people just in general that I know. I mean, it's amazing, that you were as strong as you were through that experience.
I don't know if I can claim. So my battery's about to drop out. Wow, that's one of the most flattering things I've ever heard. But you know what? I think you don't know. Here she is. Here she is. Do you want to say hi, everyone?
Hi, everyone.
Miss Ayla has managed to have three first days of school this year and had her first sports carnival. So you want to show me muscles?
No.
Yeah, go on.
No, I don't want
to. You know what? You don't know how strong you are until you have to be.
Goodbye.
And go on, Survivor shows that, and life shows that, and wow, I'm really flattered by what you said, but I think I'm just me. I'm just dealing with what life throws at me and trying to make the best of it each day and trying to get to tomorrow and survive it.
Well, I appreciate you.
We love you too.
And Figs, last but not least, definitely not least, how have you been? What you been up to? I know you got a new job.
Yeah, hi. Actually, I just want to say good day to now, where are they? Michelle and Jimmy.
Oh, hi.
And hi. And I owe Steve a telephone call, don't I, Steve?
Yeah.
We tried a couple of times. But and all credit to you, Jason. This is fantastic. It really is good fun. It's great to see faces. So what have I been doing? Hey, I'll just take off my little camera here and just show you what I've been doing. So this is my home office. I hope I don't knock everything down. I'll just show you around it. Okay, so you can see what I've been doing. Right, have a look at this. So 2 screens there, 2 screens there, and a laptop. It's nuts. So what I've been doing, I joined a new company called, well, it's not a new company. It's been going a while, I think probably about 30 years. you guys would know in the States, it's owned by General Dynamics, and it's called Jet Aviation. They're based in Switzerland, and Hawker Pacific is a subsidiary. So it's Hawker and Jet. And I put together solutions for Army Navy Air Force in the Asia Pacific region, and also France lately. So some huge, and this is, it sounds great, but it is way out of my comfort zone. I've never done these sort of solutions before. So it's for special ops, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance type aircraft, helicopters. So we're buying, for example, we're buying 18 Bell 429 helicopters. I talked to Bell Textron. So I talk to y'all once a week. So we're getting, say, 18 helicopters, and we're fitting them out for special ops, to counter urban terrorism in capital cities in Australia. So it's a brand new capability. And Gulfstream 550s for high level surveillance, border surveillance. So it's just bizarre stuff. And the money is in the, so some programs are 4 or 5 billion. It's just nuts. So that's what I've been doing for the last 14 months. My boss is just the most aspirational guy you'd ever meet. He just goes for everything. The company, I've never had a company where everyone is just beautiful. There's no nasty stuff. Everybody kicks in and gets work done. So that's the one side of life. The other side is, so I've been so fortunate through COVID. I'm sure we're locked in now and then, but I've been employed all the way through, and I'm 66 now and meant to be retired. I think if I retired, I'd probably die about 3 days later. So that's not going to happen. I'm trying to. So my goal is to try and get my running times down to when I was 18, and they're getting there. So don't think that as you get older, you can't get, you can't keep really good O2 max numbers up. And so I never thought I'd do a marathon. So I'm planning on a half. I've done a half marathon about a year ago. I'm going to do a full marathon. That's on the horizon. I want to get back to Nepal. I love Nepal. We had a trip up there with a few of us, and it was just, Nepal is just fantastic. And I want to get back to, which I know Kylie will appreciate, I want to get back to, the Spartan Tough Mudder and Australian Ninja. I would love to do Australian Ninja. And, even if I can get through the first or second challenge, it would be so good to do that. So that's where I am at the moment.
Nice. And it's been, I've appreciated over the last few years, we've become good mates and all kind of stuff. And I appreciate chatting with you. It's always fun to hear. How's Fet doing?
She's fine, mate. Yeah. She's fit for fiddle and well. And so you might have seen, she makes these unbelievable dresses. I keep talking to her recently about a photo shoot, because we normally do them for Melbourne Cup, and we've sort of gone off Melbourne Cup a bit since this year's with the latest horse tragedy. And it's never been about the horses or the racing for us. It's always been about the fashion. But we're a bit sensitive about contributing to horse racing. So, but she still likes fashion, and I still like fashion. But so I wanted to do a photo shoot of all of the stuff she's made over the COVID period, and we'll put it up on Insta. And it's just unbelievable gear that she makes. It's, she makes it she puts it together, and you would sell these things for $1,000. They're just fantastic dresses.
Yeah, every time you post one, it's like, wow, cool stuff.
Yeah, she's really clever.
Okay, real quick, Steve brought back up his women's shelter. I'll come back to you in just a second, Fig. But Steve brought back up the women's shelter and put a link in the chat. But since this is being recorded on video, I'll also just bring up the link so you can click on it later on if you are watching. And it's webpage WCS fundraiser.raisely, which is RAISELY.com. And then you do a / and then Steve and then -co. Is that correct,
Yes.
Steve?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Okay, so I've dominated here. It's great to hear from every one of you so far. So, you know, and that kind of thing. It's fantastic to see you all being successful and doing great things and getting out of the COVID ditch that we're in the unending pit here in the United States right now. But I want to open it up to questions. You know, we got Stephen here, Michelle, Joseph, and of course my good mate Jimmy, and all that. So if you guys want to do questions, or if anybody wants to just talk about their experience on Survivor, that works too.
Let's open up for questions first.
Yeah. So who wants to talk first? I think Michelle's looking like she's anxious. She's
Michelle's got the biggest smile and the biggest mouth. Come on, Michelle.
I can ask. Hi, Steve. Question: what's the funniest thing that happened to you on Survivor? Something that we may not have seen, or we did see. And obviously, it has to be safe for people to watch this.
Well, I'm out. No.
Greg, you are out. You're definitely out. All of your.
Oh God, funniest thing. Phoebes, what's the funniest thing?
Oh, there were a lot.
Oh, God, there's so many.
I feel like at the end of the day, Survivor is just a bunch of children in adult bodies. So like, downtime. It's stupid. Like you're just idiots around a campfire most of the time.
Yeah, pretty much. I remember one of the funny things, I don't know, I can't think if they showed it, Phoebes, did they? But I remember when we, when Phoebes and that came over to us on Vow and we were having our little banquet thing and we're drinking these beers. Anyway, Rowan just wouldn't shut up. He just would not shut up. He just kept talking and talking. And me and Phoebes were giggling and she goes, watch this, because we had finished our beers. And she was like, he's just holding his beer. He's not even drinking it. She's like, watch this. I'll switch my beer with his and you watch, he won't even notice. And she literally just reached over, took his beer. He sort of hesitated mid-conversation, but was just so focused on talking, completely gives him the empty beer, takes the full beer, and then we were drinking the other beer and he had no bloody idea. Just shit like that. It's just so stupid. And I think there was another, what was it? I don't know. And then, I think the other thing that I thought was funny is that no one got to see anything to do with Apricot. So that was a lot of entertainment for us at Vow, was Apricot the chicken, and it was completely overshadowed.
You abused that chicken on a daily basis. Every time that
she loved me.
Verbally abused the chicken. He would shout vulgarities at the chicken, and everyone would just be like,
but you got to get it out sometime. Yeah, but you're shouting, abusing this chicken, and she just wouldn't stop trying to jump on my lap, or I'd be lying in the shelter and hear a noise and turn around and she jumped up and sitting right next to me, and it's like, go away, chicken.
Hey, Michelle, there was, and Kylie would know about this, but this wasn't seen, and so we were pre-production, and just to set the scene, we were pre-production. We weren't allowed to talk to each other. We didn't know anyone else, and we're driving along in a truck. They were very strict with talking or even looking at the other people. So we're 4 people on either side of the truck facing each other. Nobody knew anybody, okay? So I'm sitting there in my red suit, and I'd snuck in a spare pair of, and this is really tightly controlled, snuck in a spare pair of black sports socks in my jacket pockets. And we'd stopped and we're about to move, and I waited till the producer jumped in the front of the truck, and I pulled out these black socks and hung one on each of my ears. So they were like black ears, and everybody just cracked up on the back of the truck. Now, fast forward to when I'm about to leave the island, and people were in tears and upset and all that sort of stuff. And somebody said, hey, Figs, do the ears again. And none of the production team knew about this. And JLP was there, and I pulled out the ears again and put them on my ears, and Matt was distressed. Everybody just cracked up laughing again. But the producer, the senior producer, I can't remember his name, he went absolutely ballistic. I've got to be careful with the language, but he said, stop effing doing that. This is not meant to be happy. It's meant to be a sad occasion. Get those off and get in the boat and get out of here. Oh man, it was so funny. Should have played that.
That's a good story.
Now I've heard a lot of stories about Barry actually being hilarious out there too.
Yeah.
Steve, I think you were probably the high entertainment on your season there. You were a blast to watch. You were pretty hilarious with some of the things you did, right out in front of Jonathan and everything. Okay, more questions?
Yeah, well, look, frankly speaking, sorry, I'm just going to add to that. I hardly watched Survivor before I went on, and it was just a fluke that I went on anyway. And so I forgot his name. I didn't know. So, they all look the same, this TV host anyway, for goodness sake. Like, come on, give me a break. I think it is.
That's hilarious. I'm crying here right now, actually.
Yeah, me too. Afterwards.
No, I will say about forgetting JLP's name is because before, obviously, we went in as well. They said, oh, so the host's name is Jonathan. Remember, his name's Jonathan. So if you call him Jonathan. So I remember going in there just trying to repeat in my head what his name was, Jonathan, 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 so that when we got in there, I could say his name. Then we're on the mats at the beginning and he's asking all the people questions, and then it got to me and I completely forgot what his name was, and that's why I just went, oh, here to see you, babe. Because I'm like, I don't even know what your name is anymore. So yeah, trying to remember JLP's name at the beginning was hard.
I remember Evan, I can't remember exactly when it happened, if it was in front of everybody or if it was just when Aganoa were dealing with him at some point. But Evan started nicknaming him, or like, I think he might have even started calling him by his initials or something. And then JLP then turned to Evan and was like, okay, EJ. And I just remember Rowan and I like, because Evan started calling EJ. And then I'm pretty sure when Evan got voted out, I think Rowan voted for him as EJ. I don't remember. I just remember the vote card coming out and like losing my shit because he voted for EJ in the end. Apparently Jonathan was like really anti being called by his initials. So when
is that right?
Started doing it, he responded with okay, EJ.
I couldn't remember. Yeah. I couldn't remember Bianca's name, and she ripped into me on at day 7 or 8. Why can't you remember my name? I just couldn't remember it. She was really offended.
Is that why you gave her the idol? I think Samuel has the best rapport with Jonathan with names and name calling. Yeah. Jonathan, yeah, he was always hilarious in that. Okay, who else here? Let's see. Stephen Pickett, you got any questions for anybody?
Nope, I'm good. I'm just glad to see everybody.
Mm-hmm. Same. Jimmy, where'd you
you, Steve?
We were on the speedboat, when we left the island, and I was in the speedboat with Jonathan, and Jonathan said to me, what the hell was all that about? With, the producer ripping into me for the ears. And I said, yeah, that guy's a psycho. And then Jonathan, remember, he was still live, and he said, oh, wait, disconnected his mic. So we're talking about the producer on the boat out. Jonathan agreed. Yeah, he was an asshole.
He was? Oh, that's kind of a question I had. Is he better, kinder, more I don't know, say empathetic host than Probst?
He's very sassy. He's got you do get it in the show. And Craig, I think he got a lot better. So I think for us, in our first season, I think he did a fantastic job, and he's a great host. Yeah. But I really noticed in All Stars how I guess he's just owned that role now, and he's done it at that point for years. So he got I think he got better at it. There was no more natural, and like he's just, I think he'd come a really long way since season 1. And you see the sass in the show because they do show it, but like it's probably more than we even see. Quite funny.
He's such a good guy. Jonathan's such a good guy. I have enormous respect for him.
So do I.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
Okay,
He was awesome. In our first season too, he slipped up a couple of times talking about how I should have had a third coffee this morning, and he was saying it right in front of us. We were starving and just looking. And after we filmed the finale episode, he came out with a beer and was chatting to us, but drinking a beer at the same time. So I called him out on it and said, where's ours? And all credit to him.
Wow.
He has become quite sassy on Twitter this year.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I noticed that.
So if we're going Australian host, do you guys prefer Jonathan or Bo from Amazing Race?
Oh God, don't. Bo's gorgeous, but oh gosh, don't put me between bloody decision making like that.
I don't.
Oh, but you have to go.
Yeah.
See, Michelle's going to be on Australia.
They each own their.
Yeah, JLP, hands down. Sorry, Bo, if he ever watches this.
Joseph,
whoever this Bo person is, I feel like you're saved.
Joseph, if you have more questions, you can either go ahead and ask directly or in the chat, and I will. And he says Jonathan as well. But if you have more questions, feel free to ask them directly and or put them in the chat, and I'll throw them out there for anybody.
I actually want to know for my fellow survivor, was there any moments when you were playing games with the producers while in production or pre-production? I can tell you, I can share you one thing. I had to travel with Benji with a chaperone, right, to get to Fiji on the flight. But like Peter says, it's very strict. You can't talk to each other, and you can't get close to each other physically. So we tried to eye out each other, and we became really great mates even before production started. How? We do silly little things like we went to the toilet, and he went along as well, and she can't follow us, our chaperone, and we start yakking away, and we passing notes on the plane and all that kind of stuff. So to me, that was like back to school again, childhood and all that. And then there was moments during production where we all do similar things like that, playing with coconuts. I won't go into details anyway, but anyone else can share a bit of a story about what you guys did to give them a hard time?
Well, I've got one. Well, funnily enough, flying over to Fiji, the first player that I saw and rode in the cab to the airport with was the one and only Phoebe Timmins. And I remember we were in a cab, and our chaperone was like, don't look at each other, blah, blah, blah. But then the cab driver started to go, are you guys Survivor guys? Are you guys going to Survivor? And our chaperone ripped him a new one. Like when we pulled up at the airport, she was like, get out of the car to me and Phoebes. And I think it was Flick with us then as well, because it was the three of us, me, you and Flick. And and she just ripped the cab driver a new one, going, don't you dare, you be quiet. If you expect to, you blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that was the first part. And then we obviously flew from Sydney to New Zealand and then New Zealand to Samoa. But when we were going through the airport in New Zealand, our chaperone got security checked, and the three of us got pushed through. Like we kept having to go through. They wouldn't let us stop, and our chaperone was freaking out because they had to go through her bag and everything, but she obviously couldn't leave us alone. So the three of us were walked up into like the food court. We're sort of standing there, and I could just remember it was like this like tension, because it's like, oh my God, we're free. We could literally start going, oh my God, how are you? But then at the same time, it's like there could be anyone watching us and we didn't know what was going on. And just like, we just all stood there going, and then she comes flying up the stairs. in like this whole like, oh my God, there you are. Thank God you better not talk. We need to get on the plane. Let's go. So that was quite funny.
I was so intimidated by Craig when I saw him and we were in the van. I was like, who is this guy? He's going to be really smart. He's got this big presence because Craig's quite tall, like broad. And I was like, oh my God, what am I in for? And Flick was the same, this like gorgeous blonde bombshell with her long legs. And I think she had high socks on.
Yeah, she had her high socks on.
It was just like everything was just so overwhelming and intimidating at the beginning. The process itself is also new. But the second time around, I missed my flight heading over. So to Fiji, I absolutely missed the flight. So that was really awkward.
What the hell happened there?
Yeah, so it wasn't my fault.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've missed one flight in my entire life, and on that occasion, I was very hungover and didn't get to the airport on time, which was very sad for me. But on this occasion, that was not what happened. I got there, I had to wake very early, got to the airport, and I was going to be traveling on a domestic flight from Melbourne to Sydney, and my international flight was to be with David, Henry and Matt, because they had you in your groups for the pre-game. So that was my pre-game group. And I think, like you, Steve, I mean, I do think the pre-game matters. I don't know didn't so much for season one, but in this case, I mean, the four of us spent those 5 days together. So like you're constantly having little chats and stuff even before the game, like not in a strategic way, but you're certainly interacting, and you're certainly like, I mean, you're just bonding. It's like, you know, helping each other out of the car, or like, I don't know, you're definitely trying to yeah, you know, you try and make sure people know that you're very open to them. Anyway, on the flight, I got to the Melbourne flight, and the Melbourne flight kept getting delayed in the morning. So I was texting my chaperone in Sydney being like, I'm not going to make this international flight because this flight is now like, I'm going to have 40 minutes to get from the domestic airport to like, as in I will have 40 minutes. I won't even be in time for check-in basically for this international flight. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to get off now? I can fly to Sydney, but I'm not going to get on. There's no way. Anyway, in the end, they, at the very last minute, were like, get off your plane. So I'm like checked in. This Melbourne flight's about to disembark for Sydney. And I'm like, excuse me. And I had to like call the attendant and like basically get off the plane at the very last minute. Everyone had the shits, obviously, because of my bag.
Everyone's getting ready to pull off, and you're like, so sorry, just taking your shit out of the overhead, walking back up, flicking your blonde hair, smiling at everybody, getting off the plane. See ya.
Yeah, pretty much, because like the flight was like, also everyone had been delayed for so long, so everyone was so ready, and it was like a weekday, like people had work meetings probably. It was like, you know, it was a domestic flight, like it'll be a business flight, so everyone was really like not happy with me. I get off the plane, and then I had then all these hours to kill, so they checked me into the hotel. Do you guys know that hotel in Melbourne, the Park Royal? I never knew. But anyway, I had to spend the entire day at the hotel basically. So I just went swimming, used the gym, and then I actually flew over with another group. So they were trying to hide me from the second group. And so I was kind of being shapped by myself, and she'd go between me as a solo and those four as a group, which was Sharn, Lee, Jericho, and Tarzan. And as they walked up the thing, I'm hiding, watching them being like, okay, cool, now I know they're all playing. I didn't know about Jericho or Tarzan necessarily. And so it was kind of weird because I sort of ended up getting exposure to, I suppose, a third of the cast before the game started, because then when I got to Fiji, they put me with my group. So it was sort of, yeah, it was weird. I spoke to Tarzan and Lee when we were sitting at the boarding gate, because they were like, this group is not allowed to see you. You're not part of their group. They're not allowed to see you. And I'm like, we're getting on the same flight. Like, I was meant to be hiding and like lining up at, like when you're boarding, I was meant to like board last, like they were meant to well and truly be on the plane. They weren't to see me, all this other stuff. And it was just, I don't know how they ever expected that they wouldn't see me. Like at one point, Lee turned around, he was winking at me and waving. I'm like, not only that, he knows I'm coming. We've talked about it. Like, it's okay.
Joseph's got a question for you, Phoebe. He says, if Mo had gone home that night and both you and Nick had made the merge, what was your game plan for All Stars?
Look, if I had made merge, I probably would have been very, very well positioned because my entire alliance was still in the game on the other side. So it was really unfortunate that I drew that buff. Like, literally, I couldn't believe that I lost my entire alliance in the swap again. Like, you know, it was us and then myself and David, and we were about to vote David out. I know that's contentious and people are like, oh, well, they didn't show it. That's the truth. We knew David was the mole. We were going to vote him out. Like, if we didn't swap, he was going home because we knew he was the mole. And, you know, so I definitely, I had at that point trust issues with David. So I didn't even consider him necessarily as part of my alliance. So I did lose everyone. And then it just got to that point with that new tribe dynamic that he all of a sudden became all I had. I had him and I had Nick. So yeah, it would have been interesting, I suppose, if I had got there. I would have obviously flipped back to my old alliance, but ideally I've still had these ins with Lee and Nick and Sharn. So I think if I had got there, I probably would have been quite well positioned from, you know, sitting in that middle space between these two alliances, which yeah, it's a shame it wasn't to be, but you know, luck of the draw.
You played strong, especially in the hole that you were in. Oof.
I feel like on reflection, I feel like I can finally acknowledge that. I certainly had a lot of disappointment and I was just so brokenhearted. Like it was my dream and I just fell short of something that I'd wanted so bad for so long. And so it was really hard to re-experience that. And I think now that there's been a lot of time, I look back and I'm like, would I have done things differently? There's not a lot I could have done. I mean, I got outplayed by David and he won the game. Like, what can you do? Like he played me. Like, I feel like I got outplayed by David, and I think David outplayed everybody, and that's pretty much what happened. So you can't really be disappointed with that. I mean, he is a phenomenal Survivor player. He is so good. So,
yep.
Fair enough.
Okay, Michelle, your friend had a question. Did you want to ask it, or do you want me to ask it?
I can ask it. She wants to know: have you kept any of your Survivor clothes, or did you just burn them all?
I've
got all of them as well. I don't think I've even washed them, to be honest with you. I didn't. I actually weirdly. Yeah. So I took.
So great.
I know. No, I know. But I must have, because they're not rotting or anything, so it's still okay. But I just remember I took some tracksuit pants, which they originally laughed at me about because they said, you do know you're going to a tropical location and you're taking tracksuit pants. And I was like, you people don't know. And they came but they were completely smoke smelly. Like it just smelled like the fire and the campfire. So like for a few weeks afterwards, it was sort of a weird comfort to smell them because the campfire smell calmed me down. And like even last night we went to my so that comforted me down. So yes, I still have all my clothes, and campfire smell still takes me back and really calms me down for some weird reason. But yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Well, Steve, do you still have yours, Steve?
I just kept the buff, but I don't know what happened to those. People kept stealing my Survivor clothes, so I probably run that by now. I think it's my daughter giving it away to her school friends, make a side money out of it. I still got the Hawaiian shirt. If you know my season, it's a purpley with a nice motif there. And that's something that I think I still got that. And I bought it in Lowe's actually in desperation because, with the wardrobe, they have to prove everything. and they kept rejecting everything I already suggested. Partly because it's mainly camping clothes, because I know we're going camping, so get something that will dry up quickly and all that. They just keep rejecting them. Finally, I found this really incredible Hawaiian shirt, and they love it. I said, okay, great, I'll have it. And I still got that, I think, but I don't know where I put it. But I still got my buff because I think one day it will be worth millions. I'm sure it will.
Yeah, right.
Not mine. I have all my stuff in like a bag. So this is my All Stars bag, which has all my old clothes. This is the
yes.
loaded out in trauma. The season 1 jacket also got
loaded
out.
That blue thing.
And my favorite thing ever was this hot pink shirt that I wore in All Stars. It's so manky. I smell.
I haven't washed it yet, have you? Look like it.
I've got everything, even my crop tops. Like I've kept buffs. I'm like a total bag. And Craig, you'll love this one. Hold on. Or even, do you remember this grey crop top? That one. Yeah, this was what I lived in on season 1.
Oh, yuck. That mank thing. That was pretty much falling off you.
I know. Got so many COVID kilos. I don't know about anyone else, but I'm just COVID is not.
Oh, that blue's in it. Yeah.
Kylie,
my red suit. The red suit. After I left Survivor, I travelled a bit. I wore it at Everest Base Camp, so I took it all the way to Everest Base Camp, and I went to London and Madrid and Munich, and I made sure I found a place to put it on and wear it. But I brought back from the island my bag and the buff, and of course the suit and the t-shirt. So that's been sitting in the wardrobe like you guys, and where it is now, I gave all of it. All of it is with a guy in Sydney who's got a Survivor museum, and he's got he dresses up mannequins in exactly the clothes they're famous for in Survivor. So he's got a museum with all that stuff on.
What's his name?
And it's there for posterity now. So instead of just being stuck in my wardrobe, it's actually, oh gosh, what's his name?
Out to me sometimes, and I just cannot, like, each time I'm like, okay, absolutely, and then I go to actually have the conversation, and I can't give myself it. I can't do it.
I'll send you the link, Pete.
Yeah, I just can't.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, and then part of me is like, well, maybe Phoebe, you could just give some, like, you don't need every item you ever wore. You can just keep 1 or 2 things for yourself and just get rid of it. But I'm like,
I struggled, especially with the buff, because that buff was good because Kylie would remember we cut out a little bit on the corner of on the edge of my buff and made it a buff for the chicken.
Chester.
Yeah, for Chester. So I struggled. I thought, shall I keep the buff? Shall I? And then I thought, it's still going to just sit in my wardrobe. You know, I just got to let this stuff go. And then it's somewhere, and it's on a mannequin with all of that stuff. So I'm comfortable with that. I struggled a bit at the start, but hey, I'll send you his Facebook name.
Okay. It's probably like a wardrobe cull though, you know, like in the moment you have these dilemmas with like the keep or toss, but once it's gone, you don't think about it. But it's just that making moment where you're like, oh, what if I want that one day?
And if you're friends with Michelle Figs, Michelle was asking who the person was, if you know. So Michelle, if you have her on Facebook too, you might want to send it her way if you can too. Kylie, keep your clothes.
Yeah, same thing. I had every intention of just leaving everything in Samoa before we came back and just couldn't bring myself to do it. And then the smoke smell, like Craig said, it's amazing how intoxifying that is. And it just, I couldn't. I've put things through the wash and they come out and they still smell like smoke. And part of me is like, thank God. Yeah. And then the other is like, I really need to clear this out, but I can't. It's just that tie and that significance is so symbolic. So I've even still got my bathers.
Yeah, I mean, I even kept I took like the broken flint and stuff like that. I've got like a little, I mean, I framed my Khouw from my idol clue. So that's in a frame. But yeah, the Flynn stuff, I've got like a little box with just weird things in it, and just can't come. I don't think I ever would get rid of it or whatnot. it's there. So
yeah, it's too special. I can't.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't even on your season, but Jimmy got me the buff from first season, the black one that was the promotional one. It's like that. It's upstairs. I forgot to bring it down, but he got me that buff, and I cherish that thing. It's like, oh look, I'm one of the few that has one. It's awesome. Here's an odd side question, Craig and Kylie. Does the smell of the smoke when you're at fires and things like that, does that kind of kick in a little bit of the either PTSD or the remembering the island?
Go.
I can't even eat smoky bacon. Like any smoked salmon, any smoked food just gives me a reaction. And I put that down to the work that I do. But the Survivor smoke is different. It has a different smell, and it has a different just physical reaction, I suppose. There's something about it that just so intriguing that you just want to go back. Whereas the work smell, you can stick your smoked bacon.
Yeah, no, I actually went to my brother's last night and had wood fire pizza, and he lit the fire up in the backyard, and I was standing there talking to him, and yeah, absolutely, the fire burns, the smoke comes across, and I just love it. It literally just engulfs you, and it's just like a happy, fuzzy, weird, it's obviously, Survivor is fantastic and highs and lows and all that, and you get scared about things, but it just takes you back, and it encompasses you, and just gives me that warm, fuzzy, warm, really good feelings as well. So
nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. The smell is one of our strongest senses, and brings back a lot of history and things like that. So it's interesting to hear your stories on that. I like the question there. Steve, I wanted to go back to you real quick. Since you're the only representative from your season here, do you have any great little inside stories? Since we've got a lot of season one here, obviously, but any inside stories that you like to throw out there that may be unusual or fun, or just something that you experienced that maybe they didn't experience in season one?
Good grief! Where do I start? Our season is a little bit different from the previous season. When binge watching the previous seasons, in that it's a new concept, like champions versus contenders. So I feel that I was in the wrong tribe. Actually, I should be in the older champs tribe, but it's another story. The thing is that during production, I guess our tribe was very intense. It's full of super fans, basically, and I'm the only one who doesn't know what he's doing, right? Except trying to find a little idol somewhere in the campsites. So it was so intense to begin with, and right to the end. So I didn't get to. I was trying to have a good time. That's what I was trying to do, but I just couldn't because of this is always happening in the background. But when I was watching the other tribe, especially during the challenge, they were having such a great time. They were just getting on well with each other. So it's kind of like I'm asking myself, am I in the right tribe, or am I in the right show, or what? It was something that kind of like surreal about the whole thing, and to have like 10,000 cameras training you at every moment of your time was a little bit funny kind of feeling.
One of the great things about you, Steve, is that although your time was fairly short on the island, you made a big impact. You're really fun to watch, and just seemed like such a great guy. So it's even though your time was short, it was great to watch you.
No, I had no regrets. I really had a blast. I enjoyed it, and as what everyone say afterward, that we all become mates, friends, Facebook and WhatsApp. Not only that, we catch up with each other. when Sam Hinton was in Sydney, we had coffee and, you know, like things like that. It's also inter-seasonal. Like I got to know people from season 2, and was hoping one day to meet that guy in a red shirt, a red jacket, Pete, which I never did, but now I realize who he is.
Oh yeah. And Pete's great, man. He's a, like I said, he's a good friend and just a great guy, you know. And I can say that because he's sitting right here. You know, when I close down the session and not recording anymore, then I'll tell you the truth.
You can handle the truth.
We'll make it happen, Steve.
All right.
So the initial plan for this was an hour and a half, and we've now surpassed that. I can keep the session going if people are interested in doing that, but you know, your time is valuable, and you guys just got out of a lockdown, and so I'm sure that you want to go celebrate and have some fun. Kylie's already out having fun with the kids and stuff like that, you know. So, and I know it's gonna be great. If you guys want to hang around, perfect. If not, I just want to bring it. I'll just bring it up and give Kids the World now once more, and then we can continue if we want to. I will stop the recording though. Okay. So again, this whole event here was for Give Kids the World. And if you're interested in looking at the website, they take donations year round. This is one of the very few charities in the United States that actually has about 97% of the donations go directly to the families, directly to children. There's not the overhead costs that you see in a lot of major charities where CEOs are taking a chunk and other people are taking a chunk. Now, this goes directly to the kids. This is an international organization, you know, so kids from all over the world, you know, come and spend a week at the camp. And again, it's for them to be able to make memories and have some fun in their lives, you know, when things are looking pretty grim and bad. The reason Omar, who was one of the heads of Give Kids the World that normally co-hosts and things like that, is not here tonight is because they are actually doing the very first night of their light festival. They have upgraded the actual campus, and which is the campus behind me here, with millions of lights. And so they're doing organization where people can walk through and or drive through and see that and stuff. So it's just what I'm really passionate about. Ever since, like Phoebe said and like Flick said and things like that, seeing the campus and seeing the kids and experiencing and seeing what they're going through and the joy that they have at this place is just tremendous. And Stephen Pickett has seen it as well. It's something, it's really hard to, you know, it's easy to say it's tremendous. It's harder when you see it because it's both amazing and heartbreaking at the same time, you know, to see these families, what they're going through and stuff. So you guys being here, you guys participating in this have helped raise money for this again, which is fantastic. I really, truly appreciate it. If you're interested in Give Kids the World, you can go to gktw.org. or just look up Give Kids the World online and everything. And the event that they have every year with the reality contestants is called Hearts of Reality. And that's happening here in a few weeks on December 3rd, I think, is it, Pickett?
3rd through the 5th, yeah.
3rd through the 5th, everything. So they've got people from Survivor and Amazing Race and Big Brother and Naked and Afraid and all this that come and, you know, spend time and you know, sign autographs and meet the fans and have events and things like that. So Phoebe has been gracious enough to come and join us. And you want to give us a quick rundown on your experience, Phoebe?
I will, and I'll share a story as well. It's a personal story, not necessarily related to the charity, but it's something that when you reached out to me, Jason, I really genuinely wanted to be part of because I've experienced that in my own family. My sister's son, when he was 11, so my nephew was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. And my family went through a lot at that time. It was actually just after Survivor the first time. We miraculously, as a family, he's okay today. I mean, there are challenges. There are challenges, but we're fortunate he's still with us. And I will say that I was so overwhelmed by the support that my family got at that time from just people, the public, strangers, like, you know, my nephew loved football. There were football teams. Like, the love and support from the community broadly was, I can't even explain to you how meaningful that was, and also how much of the difference it made to my sister financially in order to get him the treatment that he needed at the time. So just from a personal perspective, I will say that this charity and Give Kids the World does do amazing things. And I'm so grateful to you, Jason, and to the organisation, and to all of you, and Stephen, for the work that you do. So thank you so much. It is so nice to be a part of it, and we'll always be here to help whenever you need us. But in terms of Hearts of Reality, that was just amazing. I agree with you. It was both uplifting and beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time, but truly something special to be a part of. And it just had such a community feel. You had all these amazing people from these different backgrounds that had these life experiences with fans, and it was just this beautiful time and week. I have such fond memories. I would do it over and over again. It's amazing.
Nice. Thank you for that. Yeah. So I just wanted to wrap that part up and stuff. Like I said, we'll call the video short, but we'll leave the room going a little bit longer. The point is, though, is that go out, take a look at the organization, donate if you can. It'd be fantastic. This is the whole purpose for this. If you enjoyed your time listening to this video and watching it on YouTube and things like that, afterwards, go to Give Kids the World. Throw some money their way, because right now they are closed down because of COVID. They will not be able to open up until there is a vaccine. And that's making a lot of families, not have a chance and opportunity for this. And we want them to be there and open as soon as possible, and things like that. So your donations absolutely positively help in this. So, okay. So for all of you here, again, I'll close it down and we'll keep going. But for all of you here, thank you so much, both for those that came in and participated, and for the contestants and things like that of the different seasons. I've said it 1,000 times before. I appreciate you all. You have done so much to help to raise money for Give Kids the World. All of you, all of you have done Skype calls and donated things and done these kinds of Zoom sessions and stuff. Well, not this is our first one, but the donations and things that you've pulled in have been fantastic and amazing. And I like I said, I truly appreciate you all.
Well, and I know I'm going to have to get out of here, guys. So just to let you guys again know, I love every one of you. Jason, you're awesome. You do this fantastic. Michelle, it was good to see you here tonight. Awesome to see you here. But enjoyed every one of you, and I'm so thankful I know each and every one of you. So good night, you guys.
Great to see you, Stephen. Take care.
Take care, Stephen. Cheers, mate.
Okay. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you all for reviewing, and have a great time.